All right, I'd like to bring the special meeting with an executive session for Tuesday, June 29th, 2021 to order. Please rise for the flag salute.
Chief, 1 second, please. We have our veteran here. There you go. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Not a problem. Good.
This special meeting was called pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Law. Notices of this meeting were published in the Press of Atlantic City on June the 14th and June the 24th of 2021, and the Star Ledger on June 25th, 2021, as well as faxed to the Atlantic County Record, Atlantic City Press, Camden Courier, and Star Ledger on June the 25th, 2021. In addition, copies of notices were posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building and filed in the office of the municipal clerk on the aforementioned date. Notices on the bulletin board have remained continuously posted. Proper notice having been given, the municipal clerk is directed to include this statement in the minutes of the meeting. Mr. Cheek?
Here.
Mr. Gishard?
Present.
Mrs. Link?
Here.
Mr. Vitale?
Here.
Mayor Kane?
Here. All right, just for the public, we're going to be discussing the proposed Leapy Recreational Complex Expansion Project, the proposed Urban Parks Initiative Grant Application for Green Acres Enabling Grant Application, and an executive session to interview candidates for the Township Administrator position. First, discussion of proposed Leapy Recreational Complex Expansion Project. That's a mouthful. Brett?
So first, I want to thank the mayor, township committee, Rita's office, Steve Philippone's office for getting these grants ready for application. They're due tomorrow up in Trenton. What triggered this? We got pretty much a last minute notification that we had 2 grant opportunities out there for urban parks and green acres for 2021. The DEP did extend the grant deadline it was actually 10 days. So we were able to squeeze this in as a special meeting. So I want to thank everyone for coming tonight so we could get this done. The expansion at the Leapy track is an ongoing project started back in 2014 by Mike Jacobs and Township Committee, and later approved by the Pinelands Commission in 2016. The 2016 approval is very consistent with the phase 1 of the project, which you all should have. It's the concession stand, restrooms, the septic system for the restrooms with the advanced treatment system, all necessary drainage improvements that will be needed to add all the fields that you see, or will be needed to add all the extra fields that you see on that plan, and a call box with bleachers for the football field that we built out there. Additional phases are going to include expansion of the parking lot. Roughly 300 spaces will be added. We're going to mill and pave the existing 137 spaces. We're going to add lighting. We're going to do more drainage improvements and a walking path around the entire facility. That's phase 2. Phase 3 is going to be baseball fields with dugouts. Another baseball, there's going to be 2 smaller baseball fields with dugouts and a Babe Ruth field. Miscellaneous scoreboards for these fields. Phase 4 is additional lighting that could be placed around the proposed baseball fields and track and hockey court. Phase 5 is the track that I just spoke about, and that's going to go around the existing football practice field over on the right side there, nearest the bird sanctuary side, and an additional street hockey rink. The only thing set in stone right now is Phase 1. Phase 1 is the monies that you just set aside at the last meeting. It was the $775,000 that the Township Committee voted on at the last meeting to appropriate for this project. Phases 2, 3, 4, and 5, they're there, and we have wiggle room on them. You know, the DEP just asked for scope of work. This can be changed in the next 5 years, or however long this project takes. It could take 10 years. It could be 2 years. We don't know. Right now, we're seeking an urban parks grant for the project for $500,000. That is not a matching grant, which means the township doesn't have to match the funds if we receive them. If we are not successful in the urban parks application, the application then rolls over into a Green Acres grant, which would give us a 2% loan for 20 years on the entire cost of the project, which is close to $5 million, $4,988,950. That's an estimate from Steve Philippone's office. So that pretty much sums up my presentation. We're seeking approval from the governing body and signature on the resolutions to send up with the applications. Everything else is pretty much buttoned up. As I said, the grants are due tomorrow morning.
What is the total amount with a 2% loan if we go for that? What
It would
did you
be
say,
it
5
would be
million?
a 2% loan on $4,988,950. That, or whatever the project evolves into, as you know, we work through phases 2 through 5.
On the Green Acres, you don't have to accept the full amount. You may turn around and say, I only want to take $1 million of the 4, and just give them a plan as to how you spend that $1 million. And the note is traditionally a 20-year note at 2%.
The other thing I think it's important to note that this Leapy track was originally purchased with Green Acres funding, with a Green Acres grant back in 2003. We're actually making our last payment in August of 2022. Green Acres likes to see their money they like to see their money at work. They like to see projects evolve and, involve into bigger projects. So if we were to get the Urban Parks grant, you would have a decision to make. You could take the $500,000 and offset the cost of phase 1, or you could add the $500,000 to phase 1 and come up with a bigger phase 1, and maybe pull some items from phases 2 and 3 and do them a little sooner.
I agree.
Now, can you get both? Is it one or the other?
That's a good question.
It's slim.
Is it one
I
or
would
the
say it would be slim. They like to spread their money out and to give one municipality $500,000 over here, and unless they really look at the project and say, hey, this is something we really, really like to see happen in Atlantic County. Other Atlantic County municipalities don't apply. They, in the state politically, they like to distribute their money throughout the state. So they historically haven't done that to let you double dip in the same year. They may tell you come back the next year, apply for phase 2 under the other program. But I don't want to say never, but it would probably be a little bit of a long shot if they gave us money under both programs.
Looks like you're going to have to make a compelling argument, Mr. Knoll. And just to be clear, I believe that we forecasted out and budgeted for 4 years. Cynthia's not here, but I think it was $775 for 4 years, wasn't it?
We have 775, 900, and 750, and 1.15 the next.
But Steve, I know you're
Yeah, I recall, she said 775 the first year, 775 the second year, and then the other years could go up, she said.
okay.
I know she represented to me that it was, those first 2 years needed to be 7.
Right. So we forecasted for this. We forecasted to make sure that what we're presenting here can come to fruition. So the entire project can come to fruition. So,
That is without the grant.
Correct.
Now, the grant is 500,000, so if it was for this year, just say the first year, we'd go from 775 to 225, or 275, I'm sorry.
Or we could accelerate phase one to include more.
Yes, yes. We
Which,
could
with all due
spend the
respect,
775.
that is the avenue that I'd like to see us take.
Yeah.
So,
And it's important not to downplay this Green Acres grant because 2%, fixed rate for 20 years is solid. Our rates fluctuate between, 2% and 4.5%. So a solid 2% for 20 years, it's a pretty good rate.
2% is fixed?
Yes.
That
So if we
is-
got that grant, that would still be a home run for the township.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to assume that Green Acres gives out grants every year.
Yes.
Well, or this situation, loans money.
The Green Acres,
don't-
the Green Acre program makes awards throughout the state on an annual basis.
What I was told was this urban parks grant was unique for 2021.
So we hope to get
So
that.
If we get it, great. If we don't get it, we might get the Green Acres, but we could, if we don't get either, we could apply next year for the Green Acres again.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking. We get that grant this year and don't get the Green Acre, we could go after the Green Acres again next year.
Right.
That's what I said.
Are we eligible for the urban grant?
Yes, we are. They consider Hamilton Township. They send us the letter and they tell us that we're eligible and we should apply. We're actually considered an overburdened community. And that's the ranking. That's
Wow.
how we fit into the equation.
Overburdened? What does that mean?
I think based on people per square mile in the town and the size of the town, they rank it out that way.
It also deals with income levels. If you're low to moderate incomes, and we have 2 census tracts that meet that qualifications for low to moderate income individuals. And even though the park is adjacent to one of the census tracts, the fact that we do have residents in that category with the density in those areas makes us eligible for it.
What
Brett,
is
is there
what is the amount that we're looking at for the individual people in the township? Is it they're earning 40,000, 60,000? What is
It's
it?
not a number. When I have the census tract map here, and we have 2 census tracts where the median income is either 65% or 45% below the median income in this Atlantic County. So that makes them low to moderate income individuals. And I think the standard was we had to be above 40% to be eligible for it. We do have some other areas of the township where the numbers are in the 20% range. But it's based upon census data from census tracts.
And that's current for every year?
Yeah, we just got this, it still is the 2010 census data because 2020 map isn't out yet. So the Atlantic County Improvement Authority that administers the community development block grants in the county provided us with the copy of the most recent map so that we could determine our eligibility to apply for the urban grant.
Good.
and we've added a substantial amount of low and moderate income housing since that.
And those incomes will hopefully show up in your 2020 census.
Brett, is there anything else that you'd like to add, or?
I just want to thank the MLAA, HYAA, ACIT Athletic Association, and the Hockey Outcast Men's League for their letters of support for the grant and for showing up tonight on behalf of the grant.
And their input.
I have a question as far as the soccer group. Have they put their input into this as well?
Not into this specific location. They currently don't have any facilities at the Leapy tract.
Okay. Okay, and were we not working on that excavation or the drainage problem last year and the year before? And
The drainage problem that existed at the Leapy tract has been resolved for the current fields that we have there.
okay,
This is for drainage to expand the facilities.
okay. Is the the baseball fields at Underhill, are they going to continue to exist?
That's, at this point, they are, but we're looking at alternatives. If they move some of the baseball out to the Leapy track, there's a possibility to do some other types of recreation.
We are looking to delete the field on the upper level side and give that access and use to the football, for football. So next to the MUA building, that field is destined to be eliminated and moved to the Leapy track, and they would be able to expand practice area for the football field there. The lower fields, in the initial plan, there's no change to the lower fields, other than as part of this appropriation that we're doing, there is some drainage issues there that we're going to address at those lower fields.
In-house.
Correct.
Is there any appropriations for basketball?
Not at the Leapy track facility.
Not at the, I understand at one time you did have basketball at,
But again, I think it's real important that the 2, 3, 4, and 5th phase, these can change. Things can be added, things can be taken out.
okay.
This is just a cost estimate and a proposed scope of work out there.
We try and limit the scope of work on the grant application to what we have drawings for and cost estimates for, that the committee always has the ability in future years to tweak it.
Yeah, I know when we did the, I know my husband was on the planning board and Frank Giordano was getting the hockey approved. It was supposed to stay strictly street hockey. But now I'm looking for a third one, and I'm saying, is there other than street hockey being played there, or roller hockey?
These are all, this has been expanded based on the input from all the user groups out there. They asked for the baseball fields, they asked for the third hockey court, they asked for the track.
Okay.
So we're taking what they asked for and we're trying to make it happen.
Well, I'm sorry I wasn't in attendance to all those requests,
Well, do you have concerns with any of it?
Yeah,
Now that you've had the plan for several weeks, so do you have
very,
concerns?
it was, I don't know whether it was written in stone, but at one time we had a very viable hockey skating group, as Mr. Philippone knows. And as of the crash from 2008, either people went to street hockey or they went to be engaged in ice hockey. And, we try to reintroduce that roller hockey plan, but to no avail. So, yeah, I'm a little, I don't want to speak as far as my own business is concerned, but these had a lot of impact on our business.
But so I'm to understand that your objection to a hockey court is because there's roller hockey that would impact your business. So that means that
There is
the last
additional,
18 years I've spent in planning and zoning, when I sat in on the CarMax application that's going to be built across from Shore Toyota, I should have considered it negatively because it would impact my business directly.
no, what originally
That's what you just said.
What originally was discussed, that in view of the fact that we had roller hockey at our facility, that according to Giordano and Sachinelli, that there would be no roller hockey there. Okay? And I know there is because the seniors go all the time there. And if it's the way it's supposed to be, it's supposed to be. I'm just introducing another idea. We are part of the recreation of this community, whether we're given credit for that or not.
There is not a single person sitting on this dais that should be putting their personal interests
It is
in,
not,
in,
it's
in
not a
front
personal
of the
interest.
recreation
It-
and the taxpayers of this township. There's not a single one of, and if you are, you do not deserve to be sitting up here. And I'd
Excuse
say that to
me.
any one of you sitting here.
Okay, we don't want to go into that planning board tape that I had about you. So
please,
let's-
please
let's-
do.
Let's,
Please do.
let's just,
I'm saying to you that if
I
you're
am
putting
I
recreation
am saying
and
that-
taxpayers behind your own personal business, you have no right to be sitting on this dais. That's what I'm saying, and
I
I've
am
said it as
saying
clear
that
as I
they-
possibly can
they
say it.
Passed ordinances by Sachinelli.
That is an embarrassment.
And Giordano, that there was an agreement that was made, and that agreement has, we don't even, I'm just saying that,
All right, I believe you made your point. I think I made my point. Is there anything else that this committee would like to add? This is a public hearing, and I'd like to open it to the public for their input. Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to open to the public.
Wait.
Do we have to open it up?
Yes, let's
I'll make
open
the
it, please.
motion.
Can I get a second, please? For open it, okay,
Rodney had second.
Thank you.
thank you.
What's going to happen with the Underhill field?
It is staying intact, Jack. The-
Football field,
Yes,
and there's a baseball field.
yes. In this plan, the plan would be to eliminate the upper baseball field where the football field is and allow more practice area for football. Once this is built, after that, the lower fields, there's no plan there other than, as Deputy Mayor pointed out, to do some improvements in-house with drainage to help those fields out. So the only change that you're going to see before this entire complex is built would be the elimination of the upper ball field for more area for football.
And once once that is eliminated, then what is going to be the use of it?
What'll happen is, you mean when that ball field's eliminated?
When the football field is eliminated, up.
No, not the football field, the baseball field there. If you look
Oh,
at the
there's, okay,
complex,
there's a baseball field. Are you
there's a
gonna-
baseball field in the back corner.
Yeah.
That's in the far corner, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that would, once this is completed,
That's the Babe
that would
Ruth
be
field.
eliminated to expand football on that side of the street.
Okay. And the other is the advanced treatment system. What is that advanced treatment system going to look like? I mean, for that quantity of people, that's going to be very expansive. It's going to be, has to be pretty big.
It's going to be there's two different companies that make, it has a special system that filters out and changes the nitrates before it goes into the ground. It's the same reason why you need, to build a single family house in a pine land, you need 3.2 acres. Well, on 60 acres, well, the demand on the septic system is pretty high. So it's a special piece of equipment that will modify the nitrates before they go in the ground. So it's what they call advanced treatment
Has
system.
grinders in it and,
Well, it's actually an aeration system. And it has filters in it.
and where is that going to be located as you're looking at that plat there, where is it going to be in the upper right-hand corner or?
The upper right-hand corner is where the septic system is going to be. It's going to be left as a grassed area. And that piece of equipment will be below grade and it'll have, access ways to get into it. But it'll be below grade and it'll be flush with the ground. And it's a grassed area where the septic field bed's going to be.
And it has to be pumped every so often?
It'll have a small pump to pump into, for the distance between where the concession stand is and the septic field bed will be. There'll be a small-
Any holding tanks?
There's some very small holding tanks in there and there's some aeration tanks.
And then they have to be pumped also.
It's not a system that it'll have to be, there's a filter system and there's some, removals that have to occur that have to be pumped, but very infrequently.
Okay. All right, thank you.
John, before you leave, for the record, do you support the Green Acres application that the committee wants to submit?
Who's this guy here? Guys, yes.
Well, we just need for the record, so the minutes reflect that you spoke in favor of it.
No, I have no problem with it. It has to go somewhere.
No, I'm not talking about the waste. I'm talking about the application.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I'm talking
does it go
about-
somewhere?
I'm done with him already. No, there was an original Green Acres grant that started, what was it, 1991, 92, 93. There was an original Green Acres grant back in the 90s.
We just want the record to reflect that you endorsed the project so that we can report that in the minutes to send to Green Acres.
So that, then there's another one that you have there too. Okay.
Thank you, Jack. Is there anyone else that wishes to speak?
Good evening. I'm Bobby Laws, President of the Hamilton Youth Athletic Association. I'd like to, obviously lend my support to this project. This project is a long time coming, first of all, and I applaud you all for taking the initiative and making this happen. But Mayor, I'm going to say this to you because of your intention of being inclusive and making sure that all the groups were involved in having some input. So I greatly appreciate that.
Thank you.
I'd also like to just put a spotlight on some people that I think personally have done above and beyond what a professional would do in townships. As I work with other townships on other projects, I'm starting to see that not too many people work like Hamilton Township. Even in our disagreements, we work a lot better together than most municipalities. And this is a municipality that has Democrats and Republicans. There's some municipalities that's all Democrat or all Republican and they can't get along at all. So I appreciate you guys putting your heads together and working towards making this project a reality. I'd like to, Steve Philippone, just if I can just say, and there's angel wings and a halo, waiting on you in heaven. We greatly appreciate everything that you've done, not just with this project, but anytime we need you, anything that we need for those kids. I'm minded of, what we went through when we were trying to build the bathrooms out on Underhill and stepping up and having your company do some things off the cuff. I'm involved with townships where the professionals charge you for every little thing that they could charge you for. It's about just raping and pillaging the municipality. But you, time and time again, just step up. And I just want to personally say thank you from, not just from me, but from all the young people in this town that are involved in sports. We graciously thank you. Secondly, I like to thank Brett. Again, years ago, when I first took over, I came in the town hall, and my intention was to complain. When I got in, I changed my tune because I saw how passionate everybody was on the dais about their position. And I started to realize that, in order for anything to work, you've got to have a team. You've got to work together, right? And so what I asked was, what can I do to help? What can we do to, make Leapy feel better? And at the time, I had maybe 75 to 80 kids on that field, and they all caught poison ivy. It was bad. It was bad. Just imagine your first day of practice, and every one of your kids just, I've never seen poison ivy before until then. I'm sure you've seen it before, Richard. Because you hunt. Right. But no, it was unbelievable. And look, I thought, hey, wait a minute, there's definitely, an imbalance in this town as far as the kids that were underserved. And I decided to come here and make my voice heard. And, I tell you, that week after, I seen Brett out there literally bending my goalpost back into shape, making sure that the gravel that was in our field was peeled out, thatched the land. And I can't thank you enough, Brett. This project, again, thank you for spearheading it, Charles. What you've done here is, it's obviously bullheaded because there's people who think that, hey, you shouldn't do this and this, that, and the other. But you said, you know what, this is a long time coming, and you fought for it. So kudos, hats off. I appreciate it, and so do the kids of this community. That's what matters. I think what happens a lot of times, we get older, right, and we don't have kids in these programs anymore. We're not as involved anymore, so it's not as important. The things that become important to us is roads, and not that roads aren't important, don't get me wrong, but we start focusing on roads and other things and this, that, and the other. But you know what? When you go against the masses and say, hey, you know what? We've been promising these people this for a long time. I'm going to go ahead and get this done. That takes gumption. That takes a lot of cojones, if I can put it that way. But I appreciate it. It's a long time coming. And, you know, I'm 100% in support in anything that we can do to lend to this project. We'd be more than happy, you know, to do. Obviously, there's some things in this model that benefits, you know, multiple groups and stuff like that. But I think what you did was take a hard look at, you know, and ask, you know, what we needed. And you took a hard look at it. I understand you guys had a disagreement. You know, I watched it just happen in front of my eyes about roller hockey. I have never seen roller hockey out there, so I don't know how much of an issue that is, to be honest. I've never seen it, and I'm out there all the time, you know, around football, so I don't know.
Are you out there in the
may be.
evening?
No, I'm not allowed. My wife won't. My wife isn't having that. I got a limit. No, 8 o'clock's my limit. But listen, I don't know. I could just say this to you guys. What we're trying to do is bigger than the disagreement, okay? And I think you're all, you know, doing your best here, and I appreciate that. But what we're all are trying to do is for the good of the community. And as long as your hat that you're wearing when you sit on that dais says, I'm here for the good of the community, it's a blessing to us in the community. I thank you.
Is that
Well,
poison ivy still there?
I'm sorry, sir?
Is that poison ivy still there?
No, that's gone. They took care of
Eradicated
everything.
it right away as soon as they were made notice of.
I'm going to tell you this, guys, and let me say this. When I took over for the Knights program, you know, we were looked at as the Bad News Bears. You know, the field was on Knights Field until that field got rectified. I'm sure you guys know what Knights Field looks like, you know, to this day. That's exactly what it looked like then. And they wouldn't let us host home games because we didn't have a scoreboard, we didn't have bleachers. And in 1 year, from me standing in this room and just saying, hey, what can we do to help, instead of coming in here to complain and to yell and scream, as others had done in the past. In 1 year, we fixed a multitude of problems. Now, of course, we had to wait another year to get some other stuff and another year to get some other stuff. Patience, teamwork, that's what made it work. And that's what's going to make this work. And I got to tell you something. Look around at all the other municipalities. I don't mean to be long-winded, guys, but look around at the other municipalities. Look at what they have. The reason why they have it is because someone spoke up and said, hey, you know, we really need this. The reason why they have it is because somebody in charge said, hey, you know what, they're right, and we're going to put our forces behind it to make it happen. Thank you so much for looking for the grants. Thank you so much for digging that up. There's more, and I appreciate all the hard work it took to get this far. Again, anything that we can do, we're in. All right?
Well, on behalf of Township Committee, I'd like to thank you for all you do for the
bless you
youth in
guys.
this community.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bobby.
Oh, one more thing is probably, I don't have a vote in this, guys, but I'm saying on record that if you're looking for this new business administrator, my vote's in for Brett. So I don't have a vote. I know this doesn't
Did you
count
pay
at
him?
all. But if this man applied, I know he's for Hamilton Township. I'm sorry, guys, for, you know, putting that on you. But my vote's for this guy because he busts his behind for this
Good
township.
thing you didn't put us on the spot. Thanks. Appreciate that.
How's it going? I'm Timothy Dirks. I'm the president of the Men's Hockey League over at the Leapy and also the representative of MLAA tonight. We endorse and support you guys. We want to push this through and hope you guys get it and can help us out and make everything else of the field better for the kids for the next couple of years. Thank you.
Again, thank you for
Thank
your
you.
involvement with the youth in this township. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Stephen Hornicle. I'm the representative for the Thursday Night Hockey Outcast Group. We also want to throw our full endorsement and support behind these grants for the expansion of the Leapy track. The rinks out there, to me, are the best rinks we have in South Jersey. I've played on, I've reffed on, I've coached at almost every facility of street, roller, and ice hockey in the area. What we have out there is the best in the area, and I fully support anything we can do to make the whole facility better, including bathrooms, parking lots, extra fields, an extra rink down the road at some point. But again, thank you guys for the facilities we have now, and I look forward to hopefully having more of that later.
We appreciate that, and again, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim Morrison, Scott Hartnell, Irish John, whatever you are.
That name sounds familiar for some reason, doesn't it?
He looks like all of them. They're all rolled up into one. No, seriously, thank you for what you guys do. Seriously, all of you.
This is a public hearing. Is there anyone else in the public that wishes to speak?
Mayor, if I could talk just for a second, I noticed that the resolution that was prepared is for 4,900,000.
Steve, hold on one second. Let me close the public portion.
Okay.
And then we'll go on to your comments, okay?
I make a motion to close budget public portion.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, Steve, go ahead.
Yeah, I noticed the resolution references an amount of $4,988,000. All the documentation is at $5 million. Would it be possible to round this up to $5 million on the resolution? I hate to do this at the 11th hour like this, but I just want a consistency between the narratives and the documents. If we
Will
could
that
round-
help us?
It would help us. It's
Then
an
yes.
even amount. It will help us.
Well, what does Brett say? Because Brett approved
Brett?
this resolution, and so did the people that we're applying to, right?
5 million's fine. We just need the resolution to be consistent with the cost estimates. So if Steve thinks that, that the project's going to jump up to 5 million,
And that's just on the urban parks. There's
it's going to be for both because one rolls into the other. So
but the other one I don't see an amount on.
There isn't.
it would be 500,000.
Oh yeah, I do say it. I
total
do
cost,
say it.
Project cost of, you would just change 4,988,000.
Oh, right up
I just
top
want
under
to.
whereas.
So it's in two spots on the Green Acres. You want to change to 5 million.
Okay, no, I have a concern about changing. I know it's a nicer number, but the application you put together has a number that matches the resolution. That's one of the things that Green Acres does.
Yeah, it's going to be $5 million in the application.
When are you
Not
changing that?
500,000?
Oh, I'm sorry, 500,000? I missed what you said.
No,
Confused by
the grant package here, the number matches that, so are you changing this?
I'm changing that to 5 million to match the estimate and some other documents. Yes, it's going to be 5 million.
As long as what Brett is submitting tomorrow, all the numbers are the same number, then there's no problem changing that tonight.
So what I would ask that anyone that motions for or against, please change the amount to $5 million. All right?
Gotcha.
With that, we'll move on to item 6. Is that all, Mr.
Okay,
Philpott?
I have a question. If he doesn't go for the 500,000, will that eliminate the application for the 500,000? Is it,
The
How
two
does this
steps
work?
is, step one is the $500,000 grant. If they turn us down for it, they then hand it to the other section, the Green Acres loan people, and ask them to consider our application. And that number can be a number anywhere from maybe $250,000 to $5 million, depending upon how much money they have in their pot to allocate to municipalities that have pending applications. So we're getting 2 bites of the apple from Green Acres. One is for the $500,000 grant, and one is for a loan in some amount of money to be determined.
and that would be 5 million then?
It could be any number, probably from $250,000 up to our $5 million. A lot of what they give out depends upon how many applicants they have and how much money they have to distribute. So the chance of us being funded at 100% of the $5 million or 2% loan, I would say is probably a 50-50 proposition. Us being funded at something is probably 100%. What that something is, I don't have a crystal ball to tell you what the number is.
Any other questions or comments?
You're leaving the 500,000 on the urban park. You're leaving that number. You're not.
Yes.
You're only altering the 4,988,950 to 5 million.
That's correct.
Okay.
In both resolutions.
Gotcha.
Any other questions or comments before we call for a vote? Hearing none, I'll move on to item 6. The State of New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection Urban Parks Initiative Enabling Resolution. I'll entertain a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
All right, Could we, Judy, could you amend your motion for the 5 million, please?
Yes. I amended the $4,988 and $950 to $5 million.
Carl, would you amend your second?
I amend my second to
Thank
$5
you.
million.
All right, Rita, could we get a roll call, please?
Mr. Cheek,
Yes.
Mr. Gishard,
Yes.
Mrs. Link,
Yes.
Mr. Batali.
Yes.
Mayor Kane.
I'd just like to thank committee for having the courage to do this and move this forward. I vote yes.
All yes and carried.
All right, next, item 7, State of New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection Green Acres Enabling Resolution. I'll entertain a motion. Or
I'll make that motion, changing it to $5 million from.
we have a motion?
I'll second. Oh, go ahead, Rodney.
We have a motion and a second. Rita, could I get a roll call, please?
Mr. Cheek,
Yes.
Mr. Gishard,
Yes.
Mrs. Link,
Yes.
Mr. Batali.
Yes.
Mayor Kane.
Again, thank you, committee. Yes.
All yes and carried.
All right, next we'll open it once again to public comment. Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll motion to close.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes have it. Next, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn to executive session. Let it be known to the public that we will not be reconvening in public. Committee?
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, we are now in executive session.
Be it resolved by the Township Committee of the Township of Hamilton that this meeting be adjourned to an executive session to discuss the following matters, which are exempt from public discussion pursuant to the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law, conducting interviews for the Township Administrator, a personnel exception. Be it further resolved that the governing body will not reconvene in public session to confirm the results of this session tonight. Be it further resolved that the result of said executive session shall be made known as soon as the basis for confidentiality is no longer confidential.